Hey there guys, this is Guntaku again, coming to you with another YouTube furniture review. Today I thought I'd be a little bit more creative and give a little bit of montage of me making coffee in the morning and me sitting at my Noguchi coffee table, which I purchased along with my Eames Lounge Chair that you've also seen before and I've reviewed. I normally drink coffee from the Eames Lounge Chair, but I got the Noguchi table because I had an old aging coffee table. It wasn't very good. It was like an $80 like lifter coffee table, and I needed something that was a little bit better. I didn't actually plan on getting the official Noguchi table. I was going to get a replica because it's such a iconic table that there's so many cheap replicas out there. You can get a cheap replica for about $600. This one I spent brand new like $1,800 on. In the walnut. The reason why I got it was at the time it just happened and things were getting a little bit dicey and people were kind of hurting for money, and I recently came into some money. That's why I bought the Eames Lounge Chair, and they gave me such a good discount that I was able to get both the Eames Lounge Chair as well as this Noguchi table, which in hindsight I'm really glad I did. It's got a 3/4 of an inch sapphire glass tabletop, which is extremely heavy, and a two-piece walnut base set, which looks like it's only 2 points, but it's actually a 3-leg table. It's just the way it's designed. It's kind of like a sculpture, which goes back to Noguchi. I'm probably going to butcher his name. Isamu Noguchi. He originally designed a table for a kind of Goodyear, and that's why I kind of have the computer here. I'm going to have a little bit of my notes, reading from Wikipedia. And originally he designed a table. I'm going to put an image of it up in the video of a coffee table for a kind of Goodyear. He was the president of the Museum of Modern Art. And Herman Miller saw it and fell in love with it and commissioned Noguchi to make a office/home coffee table that was robust, strong, and beautiful. And so it originally came in a few designs where this is the basic design. Back then it was a 7/8 inch glass top, so it was even thicker glass, but it's not that highly desirable. Really what is desirable is like the original cherry wood Noguchi tables. Those go for a high premium. They're the only rare examples. I have the walnut, which is one of the original ones that came out with. The original, it was cherry, birch, and walnut were they originally produced back in 1947 is when it was originally designed. They kept making it until 1954 when it was discontinued, and then they actually brought it back several times, and then now it's a permanent fixture at Herman Miller. Now in today's world, it comes in several different ebonized colors. Right now, like I said, it's got the 3/4 inch tabletop, and the base height was raised just a little bit, so its height is 15 inches, from 15 inches to 15.75 inches. So they add about 3/4 of an inch in height to make it taller, which is great. I actually use this to eat at as like a kind of a dining table while I'm watching TV, and it doesn't hurt my back. I don't have to lean so far forward on it. It's original new, let's see, the way they changed it was, okay, since the late 1980s, the indexing pin, so that's the way these two pieces of wood come together, they create a 52-degree angle for maximum appeal and optimal stability. Basically they determined that the 52-degree angle was the perfect angle, and you can actually measure between these points. When you get the documentation to put the table together, you have to get that 52-degree angle. This is actually my second Noguchi table base, because my first Noguchi base, the dumbasses who delivered it, no offense to Design Within Reach, but your guys almost ruined it a second time. You're supposed to just click this in like a Lego. It's like a little rod, it just goes in. They're already designed to perfectly fit it at the 52-degree angle. This guy twisted it together and like gored the inside of the first table. So if you do get a Noguchi table, please be mindful of people who deliver it and assemble it. They are not supposed to twist it together. They're supposed to set it together and clamp it together so that way it doesn't lose that 52-degree angle. Because what I was having is I was having the legs completely move freely. This one doesn't do as bad. The funny thing is the second time they assembled it, they did the exact same thing almost, but I stopped them. They were about to do it, and I said, dude, don't do that. You broke it the last time. I'm going to take a little sip of coffee right here. So yeah, that's what those pivot pins were added to keep that 52-degree angles. Originally, the table was down here. So it was one of the most successful designs. They ceased production in 1973. It became an instant collectible back then, so a lot of people were getting it a lot. They reissued it in 1980 as limited, like 480 tables. So like basically they were probably extremely expensive at the time. And then they reintroduced it again 4 years later in 1984 and never went back because it's such an easy table. This is actually one of the most affordable Herman Miller furniture pieces for most people, secondhand. You could easily find this secondhand for anywhere between $600 to $1,500 for the cherry examples. So that sounds like a lot of money for a table, but for an iconic piece of mid-century modern furniture, it's really, really, really good. So kind of a little bit of a history on this. So there's Noguchi tables, one in natural birch and ebonized birch. They're at the Museum of Modern Art, and then there's also one at the Henry Ford Museum in Detroit, Dearborn, Michigan. Sorry, not Detroit, but Dearborn, Michigan. Leading into kind of a review of the table and why I got it, I needed a very stable coffee table, and I wanted something that's easy to clean. Wood can get waterlogged, and that's the issue it's had. Like sometimes I'm a messy eater or something like that. Since I was going to use this for eating as well as drinking coffee or drinking drinks while I'm watching TV, I wanted something that's easy to clean. And Windex, done. I mean, this is the same glass that I believe is in the iPhones now, with sapphire glass. Well, actually in watches, but it's super thick. Another thing is Noguchi's signature is laser etched right here on this side. I'll put a picture of that up in the video. And there's also, I can't show it here, but there's one on the bottom etched in the wood, Noguchi's signature with Herman Miller on the base of the table underneath. You can't see that unless you lift up the actual table and look at it. That's how you could tell if your Noguchi table is an actual official Herman Miller or a fake. I will say, for general purposes, a fake is not that bad. They look pretty much exactly the same, exact same function. They look great. They function great. The whole purpose of this table was they wanted kind of like a sculpture-looking table, that centerpiece of like a living room or an office space where you drink coffee or talking about meetings. The other thing, a little bit of history on Noguchi. It's kind of a storied history with him. Looking back at his history, he went to the internment camps willingly. Researching on Wikipedia, obviously Wikipedia isn't the ideal source for information, by the way, but this is kind of some history. He went to there on suggestion from a friend from an Indian reservation to basically talk about the arts and everything, and he even got accused of espionage and spying while he was there because they didn't like him. I don't know what it was about that. And he eventually requested a release. He eventually got a furlough from the internment camp for a month and then just decided not to come back. They tried to deport him for that and accused him of being a Japanese spy, and then eventually the ACLU stepped in and stopped it, and he was exonerated. And then this is what really began his career. Around this time, right at the end of World War II and into that, is when he met with Herman Miller, making all the sculptures, all the other stuff. That's where the Noguchi table originally came from. He has a storied history with Charles and Ray Eames. Basically, they all came together. This was like the most prolific modernist revolution in mid-century modern furniture. That's where you get mid-century modern furniture terms from. Charles Ray Eames, Noguchi, Knoll, all that stuff. They got together, and yeah, that's basically it. I mean, it's hard to kind of make a long video about a table, so I hope I was successful about this, and I hope y'all learned some history about this. and that you've seen the table. It's a really nice table. I haven't had any issues with it, except for like the noted thing where they broke the first base. This is the original tabletop with. They almost gave me 2 tables. I almost had 2 Noguchi tables, and that would have been ridiculous. But then I told them. I kind of wish I didn't tell them. I was like, hey, I just broke the base. Other than that, it's a coffee table. It's a great coffee table. Beautiful coffee table. It's super large. It's so weird the way it's shaped that it kind of reminds you of like the old Flintstones shows and everything. It's really interesting how he talks about this, and even going back to like the table. One of his actual quotes that I want to end on is that he stated, this 1939 is when he designed the precursor to this table, but he said, even the first table I made for Conger Goodyear was not exactly utilitarian. I thought of it as a sculpture that was a table. After all, you could say that the earth is a table. We feast upon it. You can also say that is utilitarian, this earth. Like, that's a really great quote. I mean, I never really thought of the earth that way, as the earth being a table, but it makes a lot of sense. And I think they recently sold this table for like, they listed it for sale to somebody, this original Noguchi table, the Noguchi Goodyear table, for, it was listed for, on auction, for $2 million to $3 million. It sold for $500 million. I mean, it like basically $4.5 million. This the original Noguchi table for Goodyear sign, and that's a really cool design. I'll probably superpose the image again right here, just so you see what it looks like for what it is. But yeah, that's the Noguchi table, and I'm just gonna sit here and enjoy my coffee. Probably have me a couple brews, and maybe do an early coffee stream for my Eames Lounge Chair, and maybe will from here as well. So, as always, everyone, live Guntaku, be Guntaku. Have a great day, guys.